Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Today we're going to talk about Wilder World because it's going wild on the charts. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment below. So I mentioned a couple times on the channel now that on June 5th, Apple's going to be releasing its AR/VR headset soon, which could potentially cause a rise in metaverse and VR tokens across the crypto space. And I think we're starting to see the beginning of that right now, which we're going to touch base on Wilder World in a moment. But let's take a look at the headset real quick, just a quick overview. So this is a picture of the headset. It kind of has a blue strap around the back that fits a large kind of goggle-looking apparatus over your face. On May 30th, it was announced that the unit has a 1.41-inch 4K display for each eye, which is cool that 4K is included. Apparently, it's running off of an operating system called XROS. I'm not a professional at understanding what that is, but also it looks like Apple's registered some trademarks for XR Pro OS, Reality Pro OS, and Real OS. Apparently, the unit charges via USB-C and connects to the headset via a proprietary round magnetic connector that you twist to lock it into place so it doesn't come off. I did read earlier that it could cost around $3,000. There were some reports that the materials used to make it cost around $1,500. I haven't seen a final price on this. If anyone watching this does know the price, please go ahead and put that in chat on what the Apple VR headset's going to cost, and just let everybody know what that is, because I'm not 100% sure myself. But what's important to me is how this is going to affect the crypto market, potentially. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at Twitter and look at the Wilder World page. If we scroll through, we're going to see all kinds of like little hints that could lead us to believe that there's some sort of collaboration between Apple and Wilder World for the headset. We're going to start with this one here. There's just a kind of a display poster that was put out on May 30th that shows one of the Wilder World characters wearing a mysterious face contraption that kind of looks like a headset. Let's look at some more. Here's just a beautiful rendering of one of the cities in Wilder World itself. This project by far has the best graphics of any crypto project that I've seen, and it really looks like something that people would enjoy playing. We can scroll through and kind of look at more pictures. Go back here. Here's another one, a rendering of, it looks kind of like an airport. They're calling it Trinity Islands. Here's another one, just a rendering of a building, which granted, that's not actual gameplay, it's just a rendering, but here is some actual gameplay of racing through. Looks like something you might actually play, right? I mean, it looks a hell of a lot better than any other crypto project that I've seen, at least metaverse and gaming wise. Here's another kind of random piece of gameplay footage here.
Looks like an interdimensional creature has crossed into Wilder World. This doesn't appear to be a standard base trunk.
Kind of has a Fallout vibe to it, at least in this particular part of the game anyway. Here's another video from the head of Wilder World itself with another video. Look at this wake up here.
Even when new, such algorithms have detected an anomaly. Detailed information has been filed from computers.
Definitely looks like it could have the setup for virtual reality. And then there is another tweet here referencing again the goggles. And here he is again, referencing the AR/VR Apple headset on May 23rd. So there's like this large amalgamation of news from Wilder World itself and the head of Wilder World posting on Twitter that have led people to really believe that there's going to be something big announced along with the AR/VR headset at the app when Apple announces that next week. And price is clearly reflecting that. If we look at Wilder World here on the 4-hour chart, we can see that just in these last few candles, it's gone up roughly 30%. It actually crossed above the 9-monthly EMA here a little bit ago. Looking at some indicators, we are a little topped out on the stochastic, but we've also seen the stochastic ride the top area for quite a while as it just continued to ascend up. And that's on every asset, not just Wilder World. We go to the daily chart, just, similar looking bullishness here. Again, we're at the top of the stochastic. Usually when we want to sell off the daily chart, I look for a combination of things. I look for some daily divergence, which the last time we had one, there were like 4 drives of daily bearish divergence before we actually hit the top, 3 or 4 of them. So kind of looking at that. Also looking at the weekly chart, the stochastic has not yet topped out on the weekly chart. And generally, I like to see a combination of the stochastic up here around 92 to 100, somewhere in that area on the weekly. Weekly RSI above 70 is great too, but we don't get that a whole lot, especially on a newer asset and a speculative asset. But I want to see the weekly come up here, kind of trigger my alert on the stochastic. I want to see the same situation on the stochastic up here, and then I want to see a couple drives of divergence here on the daily RSI before I was to consider selling. Not saying that Wilder World couldn't just stop here around 50 cents and go back down, but that is a big even number for people. So it's kind of running a risk. I could sell my position right now, maybe look to buy it down here at this support level around 37 cents. I don't think it'll get back down that far with the hype that's coming up. Right now, I think it's safer to hold. But if you were to try like a quick flip, maybe pick it back up here for an 11% gain at 43.5 cents. Sell up here around 50, buy back around 43.5. Just get a few extra tokens, because I do think this thing has further move up in it, especially with the news. And I do think it's going to be a big move up. Kind of also looking at some other tokens here. I do have my eye on VR. It's a pretty low cap virtual reality play. The actual token is called Victoria VR. You can get it on KuCoin. It does have pretty big price fluctuations throughout, like every day. You can see a 15 to 20% candle every single day on this token. Right now would be a good time to possibly consider flipping it, but with the news that's coming out about VR, I just don't see selling any virtual reality or metaverse plays right now. So I'm kind of watching VR a little bit. I'm also watching Vulcan Forged here just to see what happens. Vulcan Forged came up to test this trend line recently for like the 4th or 5th time. It was sitting around $4 where that line was. Now it's sitting around $3.90, just a little bit lower. But also forming maybe, this is kind of a bearish pennant forming, but it also has an uptrending support here. Kind of looks like a very short-term time frame uptrending support. So you never know what could happen. It could bounce back up again, but I don't know. It's just another one I'm watching. It's Vulcan Forged. And just other gaming plays in general. Like you might be watching the Sandbox. I'm personally not watching the Sandbox. SuperFarm is another one. I'm kind of watching to see what SuperFarm does. It had a, pretty substantial move in the last day or so of 27%, but then it came back down. SuperFarm's another one that has big, candles up and then candles down. So little flip opportunities here and here and here and here, and possibly here. But right now, again, I'm holding because it is metaverse just to see what happens. So anyway, back to Wilder World. Again, Wilder World has big potential. It's probably the #1 project to look at right now, in my opinion. Going back to that weekly chart, you can see that it did have a valuation of around $8 at one point back in the bull market. We still have, like on Lux Algo here, we still have a buy signal back from January of 2023 here. Still under that buy signal, and price is looking good. We'll see what happens. Maybe it hits 89 cents, which was a resistance level. Maybe it hits $1.05, which is a resistance level. Or maybe it's $1.35 before a major pullback of any kind. Kind of looking at this box right here. And also, if we scroll in, we can see that there is kind of like a channel that could form here. If it were to make a big move up, it could form like a cup and handle here. But I don't see price coming past like the $1.35 area for now at all. And if it did, it would definitely have a major correction at that point, probably back down pretty far. So hopefully this helps. Keep an eye out on Wilder World. Go look at the project, watch some of the videos. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful game, and definitely see what happens in the next week or so with metaverse in general. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button, like button. I really appreciate your engagement, your comments. I'll reply to your comments. Trying to grow the channel, so I appreciate your checking out the videos. Hit that subscribe button. We will see you in the next video. Safe trading.